What's up, guys? Justin here. Today, we're diving into the blueprint for building real strength. We'll break down the three key principles: training volume, exercise selection, and progressive overload. Mastering these will transform your workouts and accelerate your progress. Stick around. Let's unlock your true strength potential. Training volume is the total work you do, sets times reps times weight. This gives us a clear metric to track progress and drive muscle growth. A practical way to track volume is by counting hard sets per muscle group each week, sets taken close to failure. The key is finding the right dose, not too little, not too much, for optimal results in recovery. The minimum effective dose, or MED, is the least amount of training needed to spark muscle growth and strength. For beginners, just a few hard sets per muscle group each week can lead to big gains. Start low, master technique, and only increase volume as you progress. As you advance, your MED rises, so adjust your training to keep improving. After your minimum effective dose, you enter the maximum adaptive volume, or MAV, the sweet spot for muscle and strength gains. MAV isn't a single number, but a range, often 12 to 18 hard sets per muscle group per week. Start near your MED, add sets weekly, and monitor your progress and recovery. When fatigue or performance dips, you've likely found your MAV's upper limit. Deload, then repeat the process. This cyclical approach helps you grow stronger over time. Beyond the productive range of training lies maximum recoverable volume, or MRV, the most you can recover from in a week. Consistently exceeding MRV leads to fatigue, stalled progress, and even overtraining syndrome. Pushing past your limits isn't heroic, it's counterproductive. True progress comes from balancing hard work with smart recovery. Listen to your body and train wisely. So, how do we translate all this theory into practical, actionable numbers? Based on a comprehensive review of the current scientific literature, we can establish some evidence-based starting points for weekly hard sets per muscle group. For beginners, as we've discussed, starting on the lower end is optimal. A general recommendation would be between 5 to 10 hard sets per muscle group per week. This provides a sufficient stimulus to drive rapid initial adaptations without overwhelming the recovery systems of a novice lifter, allowing them to focus on mastering form. For intermediate lifters, those who have been training consistently for at least 1 to 2 years and have seen their initial rapid gains slow down, a higher volume is necessary to continue progressing. The general guideline for this population falls within the range of 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle group per week. Most intermediate lifters will likely find their sweet spot, their MAV, somewhere in the middle of this range, perhaps around 12 to 18 sets. This is where individual experimentation and tracking become paramount to pinpoint what works best for your unique physiology and recovery capabilities. For advanced lifters, the requirements can be even higher, often pushing beyond 20 sets per week for certain prioritized muscle groups during specialization phases. However, it's crucial to understand that these high volumes are typically not sustained year-round. They are strategically employed during specific training blocks designed to overload a muscle, followed by periods of lower volume to allow for recovery and sensitization. It's also important to consider the overlap between exercises. For example, a heavy bench press session also contributes volume to the front delts and triceps, which must be accounted for in your total weekly tally for those muscles. Ultimately, these numbers are not rigid rules, but evidence-based guidelines to serve as your starting point. The most effective program will be one that is tailored to you. Start with a volume within these recommended ranges. Track your performance and recovery meticulously, and be prepared to adjust. If you are recovering well, and your lifts are consistently progressing, you can consider gradually adding a set here and there. If you feel beaten down and performance is stalling, don't be afraid to pull back. This intelligent, auto-regulated approach to volume management is a key separator for achieving faster, more sustainable gains. Exercise selection is crucial for strength. Compound movements like squats, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, and barbell row should be your foundation. These multi-joint lifts recruit more muscle, let you lift heavier, and build real-world strength. Prioritize them at the start of your workout for the best results. While compound movements form the bedrock of our training, isolation exercises play a crucial, albeit secondary role. Isolation or single joint exercises are designed to target a specific muscle group with minimal involvement from surrounding muscles. Examples include bicep curls, tricep pushdowns, leg extensions, and lateral raises. Their primary purpose in a strength-focused program is to serve as accessory work, addressing specific weaknesses or bringing up lagging body parts that might not receive sufficient stimulus from the main compound lifts alone. They are the fine-tuning tools in our strength-building toolkit. For instance, a lifter might find that their triceps are the weak link in their bench press, causing them to fail lifts just before lockout. While the bench press itself works the triceps, it may not be providing an optimal stimulus for their growth. In this case, adding direct tricep isolation work, such as skull crushers or cable pushdowns, can help to strengthen that specific muscle group. This targeted approach can then carry over to improve performance on the main compound lift. Isolation exercises allow us to surgically apply training volume to a muscle without generating significant systemic fatigue, which is a key advantage. Another important role of isolation work is in promoting hypertrophy, or muscle growth, which is inextricably linked to long-term strength potential. A bigger muscle is, generally speaking, a stronger muscle with a higher potential for force production. Isolation exercises often allow for a better mind-muscle connection and the ability to take a specific muscle through its full range of motion, accumulating metabolic stress and muscle damage, two other key mechanisms of hypertrophy. Building bigger biceps with curls or bigger side delts with lateral raises contributes to overall muscular development, which supports your strength goals. However, it is critical to maintain the correct hierarchy. A program that consists primarily of isolation exercises with compound lifts thrown in as an afterthought will be inefficient for building foundational strength. The proper approach is to use compound lifts to build the base and then strategically sprinkle in isolation exercises to address weak points, add targeted volume for hypertrophy, and promote joint health and balance. They are the supporting cast, not the main actors. For most lifters, dedicating perhaps 20 to 30% of their total training volume to this type of accessory work is a balanced and effective strategy. The principle of specificity means your body adapts to exactly what you train for. So to get stronger, you must lift heavy things. But adding some variation is key for long-term progress and injury prevention. Try swapping exercises or changing grip and stance to challenge your body in new ways. Balance specificity and variation for the best results. A truly well-designed program doesn't just pick exercises at random. It considers fundamental human movement patterns to ensure comprehensive and balanced development. The primary movement patterns we should aim to train are a horizontal push, like a bench press or push-up, a horizontal pull, such as a barbell row or dumbbell row, a vertical push like an overhead press, a vertical pull like a pull-up or lat pull-down, a squat pattern such as a back squat or goblet squat, and a hinge pattern like a deadlift or Romanian deadlift. Ensuring your program includes at least one primary exercise from each of these categories is a simple way to build a well-rounded physique. This approach helps to prevent muscular imbalances, which can not only hinder performance but also increase the risk of injury. A classic example is the overemphasis on pushing movements, like the bench press, without a corresponding amount of pulling work for the upper back. This can lead to rounded shoulders, poor posture, and potential shoulder impingement issues. By consciously programming an equal or even slightly greater volume for horizontal pulling as you do for horizontal pushing, you create structural balance around the shoulder girdle, promoting both health and performance. Furthermore, thinking in terms of movement patterns allows for greater flexibility and better exercise substitutions. If the squat rack at your gym is taken, you don't have to skip your leg training. Understanding that you need to train the squat pattern, you could substitute with a dumbbell goblet squat, a leg press, or a Smith machine squat. While not identical, they train the same primary muscles and movement pattern, allowing you to still get a quality training effect. This mindset empowers you to adapt your workout on the fly without sacrificing the integrity of your program. Ultimately, building a body that is not only strong, but also resilient and functional requires this holistic view of exercise selection. It's not just about strengthening individual muscles in isolation, but about strengthening coordinated patterns of movement. This ensures that your newfound strength is usable and that you're building a balanced athletic foundation. Before you finalize your next training program, take a moment to audit it. Are all the fundamental movement patterns accounted for? Is there a balance between pushing and pulling, and between quad dominant and hamstring dominant work? This simple check can make a world of difference. The final piece of the exercise selection puzzle is determining the optimal order in which to perform them within a single workout. The guiding principle here is simple yet critical. Perform the most neurologically demanding and technically complex exercises first. Your central nervous system has a finite capacity for high-effort output in a given session. You want to allocate this precious resource to the exercises that matter most for your strength goals. This invariably means that heavy, low-rep compound movements should be placed at the beginning of your workout when you are mentally and physically fresh. Imagine trying to hit a new 1-rep max on your deadlift after you've already done 5 other exercises, including leg extensions and leg curls. Your performance would be severely compromised. Your core would be fatigued, your nervous system would be less efficient at recruiting high-threshold motor units, and your ability to maintain focus and safe technique would be diminished. By placing the deadlift first, you ensure that you can channel all of your available energy and focus into executing it with maximal force and perfect form, which is essential for both driving progress and minimizing injury risk. A logical workout structure would therefore start with your primary compound lift of the day, like a squat. This would be followed by a secondary compound movement that complements the first, often targeting similar muscle groups but perhaps with a slightly different emphasis or in a higher rep range, such as Romanian deadlifts after squats. After these main lifts are completed, you would then move on to your accessory or isolation exercises. These movements are less neurologically taxing and can be performed effectively even in a state of moderate fatigue. This structure maximizes performance on the lifts that provide the biggest return on investment. This hierarchical approach not only optimizes performance but also enhances safety. Attempting a technically demanding lift like a snatch or a heavy squat when you're already fatigued significantly increases the likelihood of a technical breakdown, which is how injuries often occur. By structuring your workouts with this principle in mind, you create a system that prioritizes progress on your key strength indicators while intelligently managing fatigue throughout the session. So, always begin with the most important lift and structure the rest of your workout to support that primary objective. Progressive overload is the engine that drives strength gains. Without it, your body has no reason to adapt. To get stronger, you must gradually increase the demands on your muscles, adding weight, reps, or intensity over time. This methodical approach keeps you improving, just outside your comfort zone, and is the key to long-term progress. When most people think of progressive overload, they picture adding more weight to the barbell. This is called increasing intensity, lifting heavier loads, often as a percentage of your 1-rep max. Even a small increase, like 5 pounds, creates new stimulus for muscle and strength gains. But always focus on perfect form and steady, manageable progress, not ego lifting. Small, consistent increases in weight, done right, build lasting strength. Adding weight isn't the only way to progress in the gym. Increasing your training volume by adding reps or sets can be just as effective. Try adding an extra rep or set with the same weight to push your muscles further. This method, called double progression, lets you master a weight before moving up. Make small, careful increases. Over time, this builds strength and breaks plateaus. As you transition from an intermediate to an advanced lifter, adding weight or reps becomes harder. Advanced methods of progressive overload are key. Decrease rest periods between sets. Lift the same weight with less rest for efficiency. This increases workout density. Longer rests are needed for heavy lifts. Increase training frequency for progress. Improve repetition quality for overlooked progress. Progressive overload only works if you track your workouts. Without a logbook, you're just guessing. Relying on memory leads to stagnation. A logbook, whether digital or on paper, is your objective record. It lets you set clear goals, see progress, and make smart adjustments. Start a training log today. This simple habit unlocks real progress. Unlock faster, consistent strength gains with our blueprint. Manage your volume, choose exercises wisely, and pursue progressive overload. This synergy accelerates results. Apply these principles and share your progress. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Contact me for a workout program and meal plan made toward your goal, as I avoided a transplant, changing my diet and getting in shape. Contact me at forgettoinspire4life@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.